Good morning. This is Arvind. In the first part of this unit, that is in chapter 3, we have discussed about the project approaches, in which we have discussed about the various life cycle models. We know that standardization on a common process is a courageous undertaking for a software organization, and there is a wide spectrum of implementations. The process framework recommended in this chapter comprises of handful of standards, life cycle phases, life cycle artifacts, life cycle workflows, and life cycle checkpoints. Now in this section of chapter 4, we will discuss about the life cycle phases, engineering and production stages, inspection phase, elaboration phase, construction phase, and transition phase. The most discriminating characteristic of a successful software development process is to well-define separation between the research and development activities and production activities. Most unsuccessful projects exhibit one of the following characteristics: an overemphasis on research and development, that is, too many analyses on paper studies are performed here, and overemphasis on production. Here we rush to the judgment designs. So a successful modern projects and even a successful projects developed under the conventional process tend to have a very well-defined project milestones, where there is a noticeable transition from a research attitude to a production attitude. Earlier phases focus on achieving functionality, whereas later phases revolve around achieving a product that can be shipped to a customer with explicit attention to the robustness, performance, and finish. The modern software development processes must be defined to support the following: evolution of plans, requirements, and architecture, together with well-defined synchronization points, risk management and objectives, measures of progress and quality, and evaluation of the system capabilities through demonstration of increasing functionalities. Coming to engineering and production stages, to achieve economics of scale and higher returns on investment, we must move towards the software manufacturing process driven by technological improvements in process automation and component-based development. At first order are the following two stages of the life cycle. The engineering stage, driven by less predictable but smaller teams doing design and synthesis activities. The production stage, driven by more predictable but large teams doing construction, test, and development activities. Here, the engineering stage of the life cycle evolves the plans, the requirements, and the architecture together, resolve the development risk. So this stage includes with an executable architecture baseline. Whereas in the production stage of the life cycle, constructions usable versions of capabilities within the context of baseline plans, requirements, and architecture development in the engineering phase. So here we can summarize the difference in the emphasis between the two stages, that is the engineering phase and production stage, in the life cycle aspects as follows. So here, coming to the risk reduction, according to the engineering phase, we basically concentrate on schedule and technical feasibility, whereas the same risk reduction in production stage is nothing but the cost factor. Here, in the engineering stage, the products is the architecture baseline, whereas product release baseline is the products in the production stage emphasis. Coming to the activities that what we are going to perform in these two stages. In the engineering stage, we will analysis, design, and planning, whereas in the production stage, we do implementation and testing activities. And here the assessments basically in the engineering phase on demonstrations, inspections and analysis, whereas in the production stage it is testing. So here talking about the economics in the engineering phase, so it is resolving these economics of scale, whereas in production stage it exploits the economics of scale. So here the management, they are going to do planning in the engineering stage, whereas they are going to perform operations in the production stage. Now, engineering and production stage, the transaction between the engineering and production is a crucial event for various stakeholders. The production plan has been agreed upon and there is a good enough understanding of the problems and the solutions that all the stakeholders can make a firm commitment to go ahead with production. Whereas in the engineering stage is a decomposition into two phases, inception and elaboration, and the production stage into construction and transition. These four phases of the life cycle process are loosely mapped to the conceptual framework of the spiral model. So in the earlier we have discussed about the spiral model. So this spiral model is one which is similar to your waterfall model. Here also you are going to perform the phases one after the other like the waterfall model. But the only difference between the spiral model and the waterfall model is in spiral model you will be having iterations. So here the same approach you are going to apply in the engineering and the production stage. So in most conventional life cycles, the phases are needed after the primary activities, with each phase having requirement analysis, designing, coding, unit testing, integration testing and system testing. So conventional software development efforts emphasize a most sequential process in which one activity was required to be completed before the next one to begin. So this is going to happen the same with the engineering and the production stage. Now coming to the first phase, that is the inspection phase. So this phase goes from the idea of the product to the vision of the end product. What this involves is basically to delimit the project scope and making the business scope for the product preserved. What it was doing, what are the success criteria, what are the main risks, and what are the main resources it is needed, so on. So here specifically this phase inserts three main questions. The first one is, who are the major users or actors to use the UML technology and what the system do for them? The answer to this is this phase produces a simplified use case model. The second question about the architecture. What could be an architecture for the system? So in this phase, we normally develop an tentative architecture. So the initial architecture describes the most crucial subsystems. And finally, this phase also answers to the question, what is the plan and how much will it cost? The answer to this question, this phase will identify the main risk for the project and also produce the rough planning with estimated resource and initial planning for the phases. Specifically, the inspection phase generates several deliverables. It is very important to pay attention to know what these deliverables are. Starting from the first one, which is our vision document. And is this the document which provides the general vision of the core project requirements, key features, and main constraints? Together with this, the inspection phase also produces initial use case model. As I have just mentioned, this is an use case model that includes initial several use cases and which are later refined. To addition to these deliverables, initial project glossary, which describes the main terms using the project and the meaning of the initial business case, which includes the business context and success criteria. And another deliverable for inception phase is initial project plan, which shows the phases, iterations, rules, schedules, and initial estimates. In addition, the inspection phase also produces risk assessment document, which describes the main risk and countermeasures for the risk. Finally, this is an optional deliverable. In this scenario, it may or may not be produced depending on the specific project. As part of the inspection phase, it may also generate one or more prototypes. For example, it may generate a prototype to address some type of risk that we have identified, or to show some specific aspect of the system which are to be shared to the stakeholder. So, when we are doing with the inception phase, we do the first milestone for what we are performing. And so there are certain evaluation criteria. They will tell us whether we could consider the inception phase concluded or not. And the first of the criteria is stakeholders' concurrence, which means that all the stakeholders must agree on the scope, definition, and cost schedule estimates for the project. And the second criteria is requirement understanding. Are the initial primary use cases we have identified are the right one for our system? And another criteria is the credibility of the cost schedule estimates, priorities, defined risk identified, and the countermeasures for the risk and the development process. And finally, in this case, we produce the prototypes which are part of the inspection phase. This can also be evaluated and assessed to judge the overall outcome of this particular phase. So what happens if my project fails to process the system? The outcome of the inspection phase is inadequate with respect to one or more of these criteria. Next, elaboration phase. So here we move to the second phase, which is an elaboration phase. There are 4 major goals in the elaboration phase. One is to analyze the problem domain, so that to get the better understanding of the problem domain. Then we need to establish a solid architecture, which will be the foundation for the project. Then we need to eliminate the highest risk elements, which basically means addressing the most critical use cases. And finally, we need to refine the plan of activities and estimates of the resource so that we can complete the project. So the outcome of the elaboration phase reflects the activities, and also in this phase produces several artifacts. The first one is almost complete use case model, which all the cases and the actors identify are the most use case description letouts. As far as this case also identifies set of supplementary requirements. So there are basically all the requirements that are not associated with the use case, and this set also includes non-functional requirements such as security, reliability, integrity, and so on. So all those ones which are relevant for this system for the development. We know that software architecture is developed in an incremental way, so it is not created at once. So this is what happens in the elaboration phase, that we take the initial architecture defined in the inception phase and we refine it until we get the software architecture which is complete. During elaboration phase, an executable architecture prototype is built in one or more iterations, depending on the scope, risk, and novelty of the project. This effort addresses at least the critical use case identified in the inception phase, which typically exposes the top technical risk of the project. In elaboration phase, we also define the lower level of design for the system, and therefore we produce design models together with the complexity of the text cases and the executable prototype. And we also produce a revised project plan and update the risk assessment of the document. And finally, in this phase, we also generate a preliminary user manual that describes the users how the system can be used and should be used. Then coming to the evaluation criteria, now let us see what are the evaluation criteria for the elaboration phase, which are our second milestone. First one, whether the vision and the architecture stable or they still changing and converged into the complex final vision of the system. Does the prototype show that the major risks that we have identified have been resolved or at least addressed? Is the project plan sufficiently detailed or accurate? Do all the stakeholders agree that the vision can be achieved with the current plan of action? Is the actual resource expenditure versus the planned expenditure acceptable? And also in this case, the project may be cancelled or considerably rethought if it fails and passes these milestones. So in the evaluation phase, if it is successful, then we move to the construction phase, which is our third phase. The construction phase is basically the phase in which most of the actual developments occur. In short, all the features considered are developed. So we continue with our method called metaphor. Then we are going to not only use the features that are being developed, but they are also thoroughly tested. So we have performed quality assurance. We have verified and validated the software, the system, and we know that it correctly working. Is it correctly working, or at least that it works correctly as far as we can tell? So in general, the construction phase is the phase in which there is a shift in emphasis from intellectuals, property development to the production development, from the ideas to products. So what is the outcome of the construction phase? The construction phase produces a product that is ready to be deployed to the users. Specifically, this phase generates the following outcomes. First of all, at the end of this phase, all the users or use cases have been realized with traceability information. What does this mean? It means that not only all the functionalities expressed by the use cases have been implemented, but also that we have traceability information from the use cases to the different artifacts. So for example, we know which part of the design realizes which use cases. We know which part of implementation is related to a given use case, which use cases were derived from the use cases, and so on and so forth. And in this way, we can trace our requirements throughout the system, throughout the different artifacts that were developed during the software process. As we were saying, we also have complete software product here, which is integrated on all the needed platforms. Since the system, the software product has to be thoroughly tested, we will also have a complete set of results for our tests. As a part of this phase, we will be finalizing the user manual. So, UP will have a user manual ready to be provided to the user and ready to be used. And finally, we will have a complete set of artifacts that include design documents, code, test cases, and so on and so forth. So basically, all of the artifacts that have been produced during the development process. So roughly speaking, we can consider the product that is produced at the end of this phase as a typical beta release. So in this case, if you are not familiar with the beta release, a beta release is an initial release normally meant for a selected subset of users. So it is something that is not quite yet ready for the prime time, but almost. So let us see also in this case, what is the evaluation criteria for the construction phase. So how do we assess that the third milestone has been accomplished successfully? We pretty much have a complete product ready to be shipped, right? So the first question we want to ask is whether the product is stable and mature enough to be deployed to the user. And at the end of this phase, it has to be, are the stakeholders ready for the transition into the user community? Are we ready to go for the development to production? Are the actual resource expenditure versus the planned expenditures still acceptable? So what this means is that at this point, we can really assess whether our estimates were accurate enough with respect to what we actually sent for the project up to this point. So usually we can answer this in a positive way to all these questions. The transition might be postponed by one release because that means that we are all still not ready to go to the market. We are still not ready to deploy our product. If we are ready to display our product, then we have to the transition phase, which is mainly to do with development of and maintenance of the system. So what are the main activities in the transition phase? As we discussed in our initial discussion, in most real world cases, there are issues that manifest themselves after the development. When we release our software and actual users interact with the software. Specifically, users might report failures that they experienced while using the system. So what we call bug reports, or they might report improvements they might want to see in the software. So typically these will be the new features requesting and in addition. Then this might be the issue that don't come necessarily from the users, but that are related to the fact that our system has to operate, has to work in a new execution environment. For example, the new version of the operating system or the new version of the set of libraries, when this happens, we have to address the issues by performing maintenance. Specifically, corrective maintenance for bug reports, perfective maintenance for future requirements, and adequate maintenance for environmental changes. And the result of this is that we will have a new release of the software. Other activities that are performed in this phase includes training, customer service, and providing helpline assistance. So something else that might happen in the transition phase is that a new cycle may start. So there may be some activities that are related to the fact that we are starting to think about the new cycle. So now let us see what kind of outcomes these activities will produce. The first one is a complete project with all the artifacts that we mentioned before. Another outcome is that the product will be actually in use. So the product will be in the hands of the users and the users will start using it, will start interchanging with it for real, not just a beta testing settings. Another outcome is a lesson learned. What worked, what did not work, what should we do different in the next cycle or in the next development. And this is a very important part of the whole process, because it is what provides feedback between the cycles and between the projects. And as we said before, in case we have a next release plan or a next cycle coming up, we might want to start planning for the next release. So another outcome will be the plan for the next release. So similar to the other phases, also for the transition phase, we have a milestone, which is the fourth milestone in this case. And therefore, we have to evaluate criteria for the transition phase that will define whether we have reached the milestone or not. And in this case, one important assessment is whether the user is satisfied. So users are actually using our product now. So we get feedback from them. We can see whether the product makes them happy or not. And we continue assessing whether our expenditures are fine with respect to our estimates. And in this case, problems with the milestones might lead to further maintenance of the system. Thank you. Thank you very much.